All right, let's talk about why I am selling off a lot of my PC and a lot of my Pokemon investments. We've kind of talked about this once already. Why, hey, we're basically at the top of the market. It makes sense to, sell off a lot of things you're already up on, or maybe some things you don't believe in. But I'm slowly starting to roll it out, and I've pretty much decided to go through my website to do this, and then whatever doesn't sell, well, I'm basically decided to sell it through Facebook first because I don't have to ship stuff. Cases are heavy. Loose booster boxes and ETBs aren't too bad to ship. I mean, I like doing that stuff. That I think that's fantastic, and you can get stuff to more people, which gets your name out more and gets more customers to you. But as far as sealed cases and stuff, obviously I want the sealed case premium, and yeah, they're just expensive to ship. I shipped a what did I ship? I shipped 2 SPCs out to California, and it was $50 without insurance or signature or anything like that. So yeah, it gets pretty expensive to ship stuff, definitely. A booster box case, I can't imagine that's less than $20 to ship to California or Washington. God forbid Alaska or Hawaii, that's probably like 60 bucks. So yeah, I really just don't want to ship a lot of sealed cases out. And then, when people order through websites and stuff, you can always get scammed. And I found out that Wix doesn't let you manually capture payments because I was trying to do that. There's a lot of back end stuff I was trying to look into to mitigate the risks of being scammed. So some of the stuff I already started selling off is some of my bigger boxes like Blooming Waters, the Tyranitar Prismatic Premium collections, the Ascended posters, larger boxers like not boxers, that's for sure, larger boxes like that. They just take up too much space. They take up too much to ship. Who really wants to pay $30 to ship a Blooming Waters? I definitely don't. And I know a customer's not going to want to pay, whatever price is, say it's $370. They're not going to want to pay an extra 30 on top of that. They're going to want that $30 baked in. So I'm taking a bigger hit on my end, and the customer's not going to want to pay extra for that. So I'd rather just move them locally if I can. And that's kind of what I started doing. I sold off a couple Prismatic Premium collections or whatever they're called, the Tyranitar Premium Collection Box, whatever that's called. Yeah, the big one. And I've officially sold all of my Ascended Heroes posters, not because I didn't believe in the product. I believe it has a nice promo, 10 packs, that's awesome. And I low key think they're a little undervalued still. I mean, you got 10 packs. I mean, they're only like 150, so the promo's still kind of free. I don't know what the promos sell for, but yeah, I definitely think they're a little undervalued, but it was just, I needed to get rid of them. I need space and I'd rather have the money. So that goes to the business, no problems with that. I've already moved all of my Ascended posters. Not that I didn't believe in the product, but it's just, they're bigger, they take up space, they were very liquid, so I was like, all right, let's just move them. I still think they're undervalued, but it is what it is, right? So anyway, yeah, I'm not willing to pay $30 to ship a big box like that. I don't think anybody else is. If I have a hard time moving some of them on Facebook locally, if I have a hard time moving them locally, I might put them on the website as like broken down and have a reduced cost to ship them, something around like $7 or $10, normal flat rate shipping I have. And I think that might make the most sense. Again, that's if they don't move locally, just because, I mean, I have loose packs already of, say, 151. So I don't think anyone's going to buy a broken down Blooming Waters when I have loose packs already that people don't really want. It's kind of crazy that nobody wants loose packs, but they'll spend more money than market to rip off of a rip and ship or like a whatnot and stuff like that. And they also just have loose packs. Blows my mind that people are willing to do that. Makes no sense. So I've slowly started listing some sealed cases, both locally and on my website. It scares me a little bit because of scammers. Some sealed cases are $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, and that's a lot of money to take a hit just straight on the chin. So if you're somebody that places a large order for a sealed case through the website, if I don't recognize your name and you don't reach out to me beforehand via email, Discord, whatever, expect that I'm gonna call, email, or text you long before that order ships. Or if you don't answer, I'm canceling the hell out of that order real fast. And if your stuff looks fishy to me, like a weird address or your billing address and your shipping address don't match or something like that, yeah, I'm not messing with any of that. As y'all know, the very first order I ever got was a $3,000 scam, and thankfully I was able to identify that relatively quickly and take care of it. So yeah, definitely trying to take some safeguards to protect myself, because the last thing I want to do is, lose a $3,000 case. Or I'm probably never gonna list my Fusion Strike booster box case because it's like $6,500. So that's definitely not gonna happen. If you're interested in that though, there's a link in the description of the video. Join the Discord, hit me up, or just DM me on Instagram. Those are definitely the easiest way to get a hold of me. If you don't have either, you can email me, but it might just go to my spam and I'm probably never gonna see it. Who knows? Maybe I will. Maybe I'll start checking that. I think right now, all I have listed is the Temporal Forces booster box case, and it's like $50 to $100 below market. I believe I have a flat rate of $20 to ship that, unless you're in one of the far states, then it's $25 to ship it flat rate. I think moving forward, I am going to try to keep the stuff, right around $50 to $100 under market, give my buyers a small discount, and makes us all happy, because obviously you're not going to get a sealed case of booster boxes pretty much anywhere unless you're in a wholesale program or you're best friends with a card shop. Or you're going to pay up full market and pay sales tax and all that on top of that. You could avoid all that and just buy it from me, from my website. I'm going to try to keep everything at a small discount to market price. I'll definitely have more stuff coming, both in sealed cases and just like loose ETBs, booster boxes, sleeves, and just loose packs. I know I have a ton of loose packs that I broke down myself from collection boxes and tins in 2023 when nobody wanted anything, and that's how I got a lot of my Sword and Shield stuff. I have sold a couple Evolving Skies packs throughout the time. I know the first time I sold a bunch off was at $25, and I just sold a bunch more at $45 locally. So definitely looking to move on from loose packs. If anybody's interested in those, they will eventually be coming to the website. I know I have a bunch of Fusion, Evolving, a little bit of Chilling. I want to say a little bit more Lost Origin than Chilling, but not a lot. And then probably a couple packs of like Astral Radiance. There might be a couple of like Silver Tempest or something like that. And then I definitely have some sleeves, more than just Paldea Evolved sleeves, but I definitely have sleeves that I'll be throwing up there as well. I'll do my best with the higher price stuff, whether it's ETBs or booster boxes or booster bundles. If there's any damaged, I will, photograph that and put them up, just like I did with the sealed case. I think sealed cases, I'll just photograph the sealed cases. The Temporal Forces has like a little crease on the side and a little crease in the front. I don't think that really matters, but investors are picky these days. They want everything pristine, but they don't want to pay the pristine pricing for it. Go figure. Typical, right? But yeah, if there's any damage, I'm gonna do that. If there's no damage, or like the booster box just has the top pushed in, or an ETB just has air holes, there's really no point in taking pictures of all of that. I'm just gonna put a stock image, because a lot of times I have multiple of the boxes, so it's just a lot of work to keep taking pictures of each thing. I have to dig them all out, take pictures of them all, put them all back, and then somebody's gonna order, and then I have to dig it. That's just way too much. So I'm gonna grab everything, document what damages there are or anything, so that way when I go to list it, I can say, hey, this whatever Paldea Evolved booster box has a small ding in the corner. I'll knock $25 or $40 off because it has a dented in the corner, and that is what it is. The rest of them are minty, so they're just gonna get a stock listing. Again, if the top's pushed in, that's normal for a booster box. That's perfectly fine. That's still minty. So definitely be looking forward to that. I'm kind of looking forward to that. It's gonna definitely be a little bit more work than what I'm doing already, but I'd like to think I'm already pretty transparent. I'll write in the description with like ETBs if there's just a cut in the plastic or something. I'm usually pretty decent at that, at disclosing some of that stuff. If I have a bunch of something, I did this with the first partners. If the cardboard was like creased, like there was a crease here and a crease here, I just wrote that in the description. Hey, there might be 8 boxes and 6 of them are creased. Like if you're gonna buy this, expect to get a crease one, but you may get a nicer than crap one, essentially. So I'm gonna keep. I've done that in the past. I'm not gonna keep doing that, I don't think, unless I have a bunch that are damaged. Then I'm just gonna bulk list it like that. But for the most part, the more expensive stuff, it just makes sense. I can snapshot pictures, especially now that I've tried it with the temporal case. it definitely isn't as hard as I originally thought it was to do stuff like that. Just because I'm selling my investments and my PC does not mean that I'm not buying collections. I'm still buying collections as well, 70 to 80%. Good stuff, obviously 80%. Ancillary and damaged stuff is going to be more like 70 to 75%. Just really depends what it is. And if it's a brick, then I have enough bricks already. I don't need more. See the collection box buying video I posted? I have a lot of bricks. But finally, probably what you guys have actually been watching the video for, the reasons I'm actually selling. First, I think this might be the most important reason to get out of my sealed product and singles and slabs and into some cash is because I think we're gonna see interest rate cuts. Like them or hate them, President Trump has been very adamant about wanting the Fed chair to lower interest rates. Now that Jerome Powell's out, he got to pick his guy. And I mean, his guy, nobody can assume what's going to happen, or I guess we can all assume, but that just, everybody knows that saying. So I'm going to assume that he's probably going to be listening to Trump. Trump's going to be in his ear telling him, hey, I need you to cut interest rates. You need to cut interest rates. And I think at some point he's going to eventually cut interest rates, and it's going to get cheaper to get loans and mortgages. And I just kind of want to be ahead of things. That way, if things, start to come down a little bit, if the housing market starts to pick up because of that, which it tends to do, I'll be in a position to jump on something and get a low interest rate. Or if he doesn't and he keeps interest rates higher longer, then we're seeing a lot of weakness in the housing market. And I don't know if anybody else keeps up with this, but there's now more sellers than buyers. And it's like a pretty large margin. I want to say I saw something that said this is the largest margin since like '08 or something like that. So that, kind of tells me we're kind of starting to get into a buyer's market. And again, I'd like to have a house, and if Pokemon can pay for it, free content, baby, all for that. So yeah, I think that is a pretty good reason to get into cash and just try to be ahead of things, ahead of the market, just in case, if it goes this way or this way, I'm prepared for both. And then I won't be scrambling to sell everything. I won't, be like, oh, just take everything for 70%, which I would never do anyway. But I don't want to be in a position where I have to, rush everything out the door all at once. I'd rather be able to take my time and navigate it myself, if that makes sense. So number 2, obviously we are in the hottest, craziest bull run maybe ever in collectibles, TCGs, Pokemon cards, what have you. I think it would be financially stupid and irresponsible for me not to sell some or a lot of my PC and investments. I mean, a lot of the stuff, the Sword and Shield stuff, I'm up, like 300%, sometimes even more. Some of my slabs I'm up pretty similar. I bought some slabs for like $80 and they're 600, kind of crazy. I didn't even think it would be like that, but it happens. So to me, it just makes sense, and it would be dumb for me to hold the bag and watch ride it the whole way up and then ride it the whole way down. And now I'm either gonna have to sell at a very low percentage already in the down market, or hold back through and wait for another bull run. I'd rather not do that. That's it, especially when I have a clear cut reason with number 1 of a reason to sell stuff. Number 3, I hope it'll help my store out. Hopefully I get my name out, help people find my store and what they buy from my site. Maybe I'll get another repeat customer. I have a lot of repeat customers because they know, hey, if I order this, it's usually a fair price and it's usually accurately described or descripted, whatever you want to say. And it's packaged extremely well with love and care, and they know they're going to get what they bought, essentially. They know I'm legit, and odds are it arrives safely because I do my due diligence with packaging stuff with bubble wrap and lots of packing material. So your shit's not, jiggling around in there and it's not getting smashed to crap and everything. So I think that helps win people over. I also, and I do that whether it's a, $6,000 Fusion Strike box or case or a $5 Japanese pack. They all get packaged, as best as humanly possible. And if I mess something up, I'm willing to fix it. So not a huge deal. I want people to know that I have whatever they're looking for because, obviously I list my PC out. I have way more SKUs, way more stuff, and it just becomes a lot, Somebody's looking for a Fusion Strike case, like, oh, Max Packs has that. If they're looking for a Paradigm Trigger booster pack, they go, Max Pack's got that. If they want, Fusion Strike booster box for $1,100, Max Pack's got that. But if they want, a Fusion Strike booster pack that's like $18 or whatever, Max Packs has that. You know what I'm saying? So I want to be the guy that has everything that you could possibly want, so that way there's something for everyone. And I'm like that when I vend too, so kind of makes sense to keep doing that. My fourth reason is going to be space and opportunity cost. I've touched base on this in past videos, so I'm not gonna do a deep dive on that in this video. So I'll just try to, touch base on it. I need more space for new items. Let's be real here. As my PC investments have gone up, it makes more sense to sell them and get new space for new stuff, because if I don't have space for new stuff, I can't buy new stuff. Makes sense, right? Also, I think liquidity drops a ton. Actually, I know liquidity drops a ton. And I mean, I can see that with Sword and Shield booster boxes. Chilling Reigns, $400, nobody's buying it. Liquidity is in the dumps. Evolving Skies is still hard to move unless you sell it online or you have the connections already built. Those high-end boxes get very difficult to move unless you already have relationships and connections built, or you're willing to take a percentage, or you just sell online, and I mean, you're basically taking a percentage there anyway. So there's that. And then opportunity cost, something that has gone up already, Fusion Strike, $1,100. Do I think that Fusion Strike is going to get to $2,200 before Ascended Heroes gets to $360? I don't know. I really don't think so. I think Ascended Heroes is going to double faster than Fusion Strike will. So it would make sense for me to sell Fusion Strike and buy more Ascended Heroes to double down on that. And then when it doubles, I'll double more money because I'll be able to get more boxes that will double, essentially. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, I think there's going to be slower gains moving on a lot of products. By the way, everything I name dropped is an example, not a definitive or my personal thoughts and opinions, we'll put it that way. So yeah, I mean, space and opportunity costs are real, and basically that's as deep as I really want to get into that, I guess. Maybe a future video, we can do another video like I did with the collection boxes. I can, run through a couple products or a bunch of products I dig out, and we can go through the conditioning of them, and then everybody can kind of refer to that from the website to YouTube, and I'll send out an email to everybody that has the YouTube video linked to the email. That way, you can see, oh, again, I'm just going to use Fusion Strike. There's a Fusion Strike booster box case. Let me see the condition of that. You click the video link, and then boom, you can watch the video, see the condition of everything, and everything's right there for you. Real nice and easy and simple. You also have the pictures on the website, so that'll be really cool. I think that's a pretty decent idea. It'll be a lot of work. We'll kind of play it by ear with how much time I get to do all of that stuff. It's definitely a lot of work and time to dig stuff out and organize it, take pictures and then have to stuff it all back in. And then, yeah, if I have to video the whole thing, then I have to keep everything all out at once. I can't, put half of it back, that whole mess. Anyway, all right, guys, that's all I got for you. Remember to check the links in the description of the video. Website's down there, shop that. It's been a little while since we got an order, so help your boy out. Help me get some sales, and I'll see y'all on the next video.